I'm not really known for Minecraft. In fact, most people don't even know that I actively play Minecraft. But single-handedly, it's the one game that's probably changed my life the most. I wouldn't consider myself to be a pro by any means. I consider myself knowledgeable of the game, but if I were to fit into any role, I'd call myself a storyteller. Many storytellers like myself would probably avoid hardcore at all costs, as a single mishap can lose you everything. But that's weirdly the exact reason hardcore draws me in. It's a story that I will never finish. A story that'll be sealed by blood. Content creators such as Philza and Loony are perfect examples of this. Their worlds are filled with life, reeking of tale yet to be told, but never will be. But my world is not like Philza's, and it's not like Loony's either. Because this is my world, and I'm here to tell my story. This story will consume this world from horizon to horizon, a world shaped by my hand to tell a story of love and happiness, of violence and hate, of loss and sorrow, of unity and rebellion, and tragedy and triumph. This is where I will share the legend of my world. But first, I must claim this world as my own, as all hardcore players must. For the world to truly be mine, I must prove myself worthy and conquer it. Only then will I be able to tell the story. And this is how I conquered my world. Before we get into the story, I need to talk about an important mod that I have on this world. This mod is called End Remastered, which changes Minecraft's progression in a way that will force me to leave my comfort zone and gain my confidence as a player before I conquer my world. In order to enter the end, I must collect 12 out of 16 different Ender Eyes. Each eye has a different set of steps in order to obtain it. Only when I've obtained 12 of these eyes will I be able to enter the end and take this world for my own. Upon spawning in my world, I would find myself in a savanna biome. I shortly found a village right on the edge of my render distance. Upon arriving in the village, I began trading with villagers, and I built a horrendous looking shack that, to this day, I have still kept intact because I know it drives my stream chat nuts and I find it hilarious. After a short mining trip, I came back with iron for a blast furnace and used my first diamonds to make simple diamond tools. I continued trading with the various villagers until, within only a couple hours of spawning to the world, I had managed to obtain enchanted diamond armor. To further prepare myself for the challenges ahead, I made a little fishing stand and spent hours upon hours fishing, slowly obtaining all the enchanted books and XP that I would need to further enchant my armor and tools. During this time, I would take breaks to make a makeshift iron farm for an anvil and minecarts, as well as a villager breeder with the intent of eventually starting a villager trading hall. After many hours of grinding, I was able to get my armor and weapons into decent shape with full protection 4 and mending, along with various other enchantments. I would place my iron farm with something a bit more efficient, and would also start gathering materials I would use for future farms. And feeling readier than ever, I set off on a quest to locate my first few eyes. My sights were first set on the black eye. This eye could commonly be found in buried treasure chests, and I figured would probably be the easiest one to get right off the bat. But unfortunately, despite looting several shipwrecks and buried treasures for over 2 hours on stream, we had no luck of finding a black eye. So I ended stream that day and decided to instead focus on searching on the many other eyes. Leaving the black eye in the back of our mind, we searched for a jungle temple in the hopes of finding a rogue eye. And not long after, we finally found a jungle temple and a surface entrance mine shaft, and obtained the first 2 of our eyes, being the rogue eye and the lost eye. With confidence, we progressed forward, getting extremely lucky. We found a cold eye in the very first igloo we found. Next, I searched a desert temple in hopes of finding an old eye. Now, due to the Young's Better Desert Temples mod, desert temples will apply mining fatigue upon entering, much like an ocean monument. To try work around this, I dropped TNT down the hole at the top to try and expose the lower floor, while also hoping to not open up the trap at the bottom. If a husk fell down, it could potentially set off the trap, which is what happened on my first attempt. Luckily, on the second attempt, we managed to pull it off, and after defending against wave after wave of husks, I was able to get my hands on an old eye. I was starting to feel ready to take on the Nether, but little did I know that this would completely change everything. Before entering the Nether, I got a cleric villager and leveled it up to max to get an evil eye. As I prepared to enter the Nether, I missed one crucial detail. I didn't have any gold armor, and I had failed to properly organize my inventory before entering through. Because what I didn't know is that my Nether spawn was inside a bastion remnant filled with piglins and piglin brutes. Luckily, my portal brought me to the top of the bastion. In a stroke of luck, the coast seemed clear, with the exception of a couple naturally spawned piglins. Little did I know that those two piglins were about to try end my run.
That has knockback. That has knockback. No.
In that moment, I learned a very important lesson. This is a hardcore world. Something as simple as making sure your inventory is organized and being adequately prepared for any situation can, in just moments, can become critical. I was caught unprepared and my inventory was unorganized. I had screwed up, and it nearly cost me everything. Had I not enchanted my armor with fire protection and feather falling, as well as kept an enchanted golden apple on me, that very well could have ended my journey before it even started. Defeated, I returned to the overworld to calm my nerves and properly gear myself up. I may have nearly lost everything, but I had to continue regardless. And then I had a realization. The bastion I spawned in. It was a treasure bastion. And if I could make it into the heart of its treasure room, there was a chance I could find a cursed eye, one of the hardest eyes to get. Encouraged by chat, I re-entered the Nether and carefully lowered myself into the bastion, blocking myself off at every opportunity as I slowly made my descent. Unfortunately, there was no eye in that bastion. But as a reward, I obtained 2 netherite ingots and a renewed self-confidence. I quickly headed home and converted my diamond chestplate and leggings into netherite. Not much later, I would find my very first fortress and I would pull a nether eye from the very first chest I found and collected my first of 3 wither skulls. At this point, I had obtained 6 of the 12 eyes I needed, so I got right on to obtaining the final few I needed. I first started by building a raid farm. This would allow me to kill an evoker to get the magic eye without having to go search for mansions, as well as allowing me to kill witches for a witch pupil to craft a witch eye, with the bonus of also getting a couple totems. Shortly after, I was able to kill an elder guardian from a nearby ocean monument to get a guardian eye as well. I then took a break to focus on building a couple farms. I built a simple tree farm that produces way more wood than I will ever need. And then I also started working on a mob farm so I could start getting gunpowder for when I would eventually need rockets for an elytra. To help it blend into the village I planned to make a little bit later down the road, I turned it into a windmill and used the windmill as a power source for the farm. Even if I had to make a couple redesigns to the windmill's exterior to prevent it from catching on fire, as that was a bit of a problem for a little bit. I then returned to the Nether and gathered the remaining wither skulls I needed and fought the wither with a bunch of iron golems, obtaining 2 wither eyes. Having just 2 eyes remaining, I set out to sea in hopes of finally obtaining a black eye from a shipwreck or a corrupted eye from a pillager outpost. And in a stroke of luck, I finally found a black eye. The first I looked for, but among the last I would find. Only needing 1 more eye, I set sail for the coral reef I had found earlier on to grab the materials I would need to make an exotic eye. And with that, I crafted the final eye. I had completed the Overworld's challenge. I had the key to unlock the end and claim this world for my own. And yet, I hesitated. My slip up in the Nether had nearly cost me everything, and now, I was about to challenge something far greater. I reflected on my world, where it started, where I was now, the daring ventures I had made just to get this far, as well as the 15+ hours I spent fishing. As I walked up to the end portal and placed each eye in the portal, I stared into the void. This was the moment of no return. The last opportunity to prepare myself. The last chance to turn back. I took a deep breath, and I calmed myself. I was going to conquer this world, or die trying. As the dragon rose into the air, glowing with an ethereal light, me and my chat celebrated. However, the battle had only just begun. In high-level hardcore and survival worlds, there is a common practice involving the Ender Dragon. Each time you beat the Ender Dragon, a new end gateway appears. By killing the Ender Dragon 20 times, you unlock all of the end gateways. And before I had entered the end, I had grinded for several hours to obtain all of the gas tiers and ender eyes needed to craft all of the end crystals that we would need to fight the dragon all 20 times. After setting up a beacon for some bonus resistance and regeneration, the battle to conquer our world finally began. As dragon after dragon rose into the air, we came closer and closer, and step by step, we conquered our world. As the final blow was dealt, the dragon rose into the air for the final time. Me and chat cheered. The world was ours. The fight to conquer our world had taken over 3 hours, but we had managed to do it without ever popping a totem even once. As we all celebrated, we went through the end gateway and traveled the end to go and collect our reward. And then, for the very first time in this world, we took flight. And this is where our story begins. Our world has become a blank canvas for the setting of our grand journey. Thank you for joining me in this adventure, and hopefully this will be the beginning of many more stories. If you like this video and watched this far, I'll be streaming this world right after the end of this premiere. And if you haven't already, feel free to support this channel by liking and subscribing. With that, I'll see all of you soon, and have a good one.